another episode of Slice of Sports. Good to be back. Erik Dobratz is here. John Pierson here.
They brought us back to do more.
Yeah, I guess they liked the first couple, so they said, give these guys another shot.
We're going to wow them this time.
Yeah, we got a great guest today. I want to build them up a little bit. Greatest athlete to ever come out of Connecticut, maybe?
Top 2 or 3, I would say.
Wow. I was giving you the nod.
Only sit there. Go ahead.
Okay, you know what? So I'm going to introduce him now,
Yes.
and clearly the answers for you are going to be much shorter than the answers for me after something like that. With us now is literally a Connecticut legend, Scott Burrell. Hampden,
in the building.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the building.
Yes.
UConn
Got a
great.
game tonight.
NBA. He's got a game tonight. Came in before he headed down to Long Island. His Southern Connecticut basketball team takes on Adelphi. And Scott, good to be here. I know this room has become familiar to you though, here.
This is where me and Donnie come and do our podcast. So yeah, it's a good place to be.
Do you like doing it? Do you like being a host?
Erik, I'm not. Since you said top 3, I'm not answering any of your questions. John, this is your show. I'm answering
All right,
whatever questions you want. I'm here for you.
Answer them, just don't look at them.
Yeah.
But do you like it? It's serious. You must like being in here because your show with Donnie called Second Half is really brings a lot of energy and some great stories.
Yeah, it's excitement for us because it brings us back to our college days. You know, to bring Smitty on, bring the Dove on, and hopefully get Coach Calhoun on next. It brings you to talk to the people you played with and grew up with, and basically, change your life.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys help you change your life. It's fun to bring them back and hear the memories and the stories that they enjoyed about college and spend the time with you.
Who dresses you for those shows?
Janae helps me. Yeah, she does. I always say
She's taking credit for that Christmas sweater?
Yeah, she is. She's the one that got it for me. So I'm like, how does this look? She's like, good. So I'm like, okay, I'll wear it.
When you get them back here, the Chris Smith episode is fantastic. All-time leading scorer. Another guy so important in the building of that UConn program. Mm-hmm. It started with Chris, in-state recruit, staying home with Jim Calhoun. Then you. When you guys get together and tell the stories, how do you feel? Because you guys really helped start something really huge in the state.
I think we're all proud of what we started and what UConn is now. We're excited to leave a legacy, to make an impact. To what UConn is today, and now you go watch games now, and especially me and Smitty, our names are on the walls and stuff like that. Smitty should be retired up there, like I keep saying, but it's just like you did something that people appreciated, and I just love the energy that when we played there, the fans brought to every game, and when you watch games, you still see the same energy.
Does it amaze you still all these years later? I mean, John and I are local guys, just like you are. We all grew up in this state. Yep. I mean, back then, we had no idea what it was going to become, but the idea that the people still worship you, and that's a word that is a perfect word. They do. Those teams are something they're never going to forget. And it still amazes you when people come up to you in the street. I was at the game. I just told you before we started. I was at the Georgetown game back in the day. I mean, does it amaze you the love they have for you still?
It does. But what scares us is the people that do love us. They're getting older now, so they're forgetting about the good old days. So the young generation, they don't do their research and understand how UConn was built, who helped build it. But it's an unbelievable feeling when you're walking down the street and somebody comes up to you and tells you, I was there at the pass, or I was at the Georgetown game when you guys beat #1 Georgetown. Those are great feelings that you always have in the rest of your mind, and you're able to tell your kids too.
And that's why we're here to keep telling that message because and then pull old file. I mean, let's take a look at some of the video here of you, Scott, back in the day.
Did I have a mustache?
I don't know. You had you didn't have much hair back then either.
I had more. I think a little bit more.
But you play for that guy, absolute legend, Jim Calhoun. This first clip is an exhibition game against the Russians at the Hartford Civic Center. You were doing your thing, Duncan, with that home run pass to win the game against the Russians. Just any memories from this game or just being in the Civic Center playing?
Yeah, I remember those are like grown men. I remember we were young college guys playing against grown men. And it was basically the first time I ever played against an international team. So they were so much stronger, so much bigger. So I think the first half they came and dominated us. Then we got comfortable and we started playing harder and we found a way to win. But it was a great experience. I think that helped us to be the team we were, playing against older guys that have done it before and playing. That's like basically their Olympic team. So it was fun.
You're a 3-sport athlete. Why basketball? What was it about basketball that you decided to make that your path?
The competition, playing against the best players every night. I really didn't think I was that good in basketball. I competed hard, and I loved the challenge of playing against the best players. But I never thought I was good enough to be great. But I was maybe afraid to fail. I was scared to fail or embarrass myself. But I love that challenge of trying to be better and trying to outdo other people that were better than me.
Does that ever go away?
No, because I think if you get too comfortable in anything you do, you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you do fail and you're trying to give it your best, it's not a failure. It's just you can always say, I gave my best shot and it just didn't work out for me. But at least you tried and you have no regrets. So I always say it to my players. I say it's something I live by. And but so you have no regrets after if it doesn't work out for you.
It's we talked about you being the greatest athlete to come out of this state, and you had your choices. I mean, we don't even talk about how great of a football player you were, and anyone who's caught him now, I don't know if you played golf with him. I mean, this comes on the golf course, and it's like an embarrassment of riches of how athletic you really are. But when you go back, you were drafted out of high school in the first round by the Seattle Mariners to play baseball. You opted to go to UConn. And then after UConn, you become a first-round draft pick in the NBA. The first athlete ever to be drafted, American athlete to be drafted in the first round of two sports. Does that compute for you now?
When people bring it up, it does, but I never think about that until people say it. I'm proud of that accomplishment.
Look at this guy.
That's a young guy, a little mustache, a little cheesy mustache. That's when I was in shape too, but a lot thinner. But I love just competing in all three sports I played. Whether it's football season, basketball season, baseball season, just challenge of competing and having fun. Sports are having fun, and it taught me life's lessons and that I carry over to that into life today.
We got to take a time out. We have so much more to cover. We're going to talk about your team. We want to ask you about Coach Calhoun. Yeah. I want to know, when Coach Calhoun comes into your house when you're a high school kid and sells you on coming to UConn. I want to talk about that and a whole lot of other things coming up on A Slice of Sports.
Yeah, we'll be right back. And back for a second slice of sports with our guest, Scott Burrell. And
I want more than two slices.
I can tell.
We'll be fighting. We got to get a couple larges.
You want two pizzas.
Yeah.
Erik, I know you had a great story to ask Scott.
Well, before we went to break, talking about the recruiting, you hear about people. John mentioned we had Abdu Torre here, John Calipari coming into his living room. First of all, you must have had a million offers coming to you. What was that like? And then tell us about how Jim Calhoun got you to commit to UConn.
Yeah, I had a lot of options. I had football options, I had baseball options, I had basketball options. From West Coast to East Coast to down South to the Northeast. So I had a lot of choices to make. But I really committed to Miami to play baseball. I was going to stop playing basketball because growing up, Miami football, Miami baseball was always on TV. And I loved the uniforms. I loved watching Miami baseball, playing the tournament. And I thought it was a great opportunity for me to become, a star in baseball at Miami. But after I committed, that's when Coach Calhoun put a lot of pressure on me. And he's like, you can't leave the state. You'll do so many great things in the state. The state loves you. And we want to keep our best players in the state. So I ended up changing my mind, and I ended up committing to UConn.
How did he change your mind?
Yeah. But he put a lot of pressure on me. He had a lot of newspaper articles and stuff, and outlets contacted me. Asked me why am I doing this, putting pressure on me a little bit, and he had some players. Charles Nagy called me, so he had some players call me that put a little pressure on me to stay home. That made me realize the best option probably is to stay home in Connecticut. But the funniest thing about that is my recruitment is when you have all these coaches in colleges come to your house. My parents set up a schedule. So we probably had 30 colleges come there, talking about baseball or basketball or football, and each night we'd have probably one school. But one time my parents messed up and they put two schools there. So they had Rhode Island's there, and Coach Calhoun and Coach D and Dave Lato come to my house, and we're sitting with Rhode Island. We're like, uh-oh, someone messed up the scheduling. So we told them they have to go out for a little bit, go eat or something, and come back about an hour later, which they did. But they were understanding. So it wasn't a bad situation. It ended up being a good situation. So, yeah.
So how did he sell you? He sits down with your mom and your dad and says, and you got to come to UConn besides staying home. But was there one particular thing that he really pushed for you to stay?
He painted the picture. Excuse me. He painted the picture of me. What am I doing after basketball? Job-wise, relationship-wise, and I think that was huge in my life because obviously you're gonna play sports and you think you're gonna play forever, but the reality is you're not. It's a small window, 20 years, you're done. What are you gonna do after? And once you get your degree, doors will open up in the state of Connecticut, and he was right. I mean, I ended up getting a coaching job at Quinnipiac as an assistant, and then a head coaching job at Southern. And if I did leave the state, I probably wouldn't have had the same options to get a coaching job. So I think him selling about staying home in Connecticut and figuring out what you're going to do in the future is the most important thing.
You mentioned your mom and dad, Sam
Yeah.
and Gertrude. Like I've always wondered, where did your athleticism come? We know your dad was a great coach.
We don't ask those questions, John. We don't ask those questions. No.
Was mom a great athlete too?
They
or?
were. My parents were both athletes. Obviously, my mom played softball. I think my dad coaching different sports, and at a young age, I used to go to every sport. And I was the type of person I learned from watching. And when you watch something, you try to absorb the good things that you're watching and the bad things, and so you don't do them. But I think watching those guys at Yale, watching those guys at Hill House and Wilbercross, where my dad coached baseball, even coached baseball at Yale, going to those games, you learned the competitiveness. You learned what was good, what worked, and I thought I try to absorb it and use it as I got older.
So it's funny. I went to Eli Whitney in Hamden, played high school baseball, graduated 1 year before you. I remember I used to go over to your games when we didn't have practice or games to watch you because I heard about the legend of Scott Burrell. Yep. And boy, I'm like, I wonder if I could hit this guy. And I just remember the pop and the sound when you threw the baseball. Look at that baseball clip one more time too. You were throwing like 90s,
Yeah,
like
mid 90s, low 90s,
Did a lot of guys hit you?
No, but some guys did. Some guys did, and that got me mad as well. But that's also the challenge. You know, you're gonna have some guys who are less hitters, but those good hitters, you got to figure out the way to get them out too. And I learned that earlier in high school. Like West Haven was always good, Notre Dame was always good. So playing those guys was always a challenge that I look forward to. And you learn how to try to get better hitters out.
Few years have gone by. Can you still throw 90?
No,
Can you still
I
dunk?
can't throw 20 probably. I can't lift my arm up anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about being a multi-sport athlete? I mean, nowadays you hear it all the time. I mean, we've heard Gino Auriemma talk about it, other coaches talk about it. Sometimes I find there's some hypocrisy there. I think they like saying it, but they don't necessarily preach it.
Yeah.
But being can you still be a multi-sport athlete? There's so much pressure for kids to specialize these days, to play baseball year round, to play basketball with AAU, and then you throw the NIL in. So it's like, can you still be a successful multi-sport athlete like you were? I mean, that's a rare thing to do.
I think you still can. Like you said, I think kids are pressured to play one sport, but I also think that hurts kids. I think you're beating your body up, doing the same thing every day, jumping around, pounding on your legs. That doesn't need to happen when you could be playing other sports and training other parts of your body, other muscles, other things that are going to make you better for that one sport. So I'm always a supporter of people playing more than one sport, using different muscles, having better hand-eye coordination, and just learning mentally and talking to other players about how they succeed in their sport and learning from other players and watching other things in different sports. It carries over to the same thing to make a better athlete.
Do you look for that now as a head coach at Southern? Do you look for that kind
I
of thing
do,
in your
but
athletes?
it's harder at Division II because you're limited in the kids you can recruit. But I definitely like a kid that played more than one sport.
How do you like the coaching aspect of things?
That's a good question. It's different. I love changing kids' lives. I love trying to motivate kids to be better, but not every kid wants to be motivated to be better. Some kids like to be average, and that's what's sad about some kids in life. People want to just cruise through life and not be the best they can be. Kids are afraid to fail. Kids are afraid to be different. Kids are afraid to have a voice. But if you want to be a leader and be successful in life, you got to be different and have to have goals to be the best you can be. And that's why I try to find guys and try to make them that way and understand life's not going to be easy. You better put your best foot forward and try to get the most out of it.
And also, how long did it take you to realize that some kids aren't necessarily as good as you were?
That's what.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
I could do this. I could do that. Like, we should be rebounding. I could rebound like that. I mean, you were a tremendous athlete. All those kids aren't as good as you were, Scott.
Yeah, I realized that early, but I also try not to. I learn how to calm down as much and not look for someone to do stuff that I used to do. So I think that's what changed me.
Scott, time's flying by. You're actually a pretty good guest. So we're gonna take.
Well, I'm not sure my hosts are the same, but
Wow. Well, maybe we won't come back for segment. We're about to take a break,
You
but it
might
might
come
just be
back
Erik and I
yourself.
coming back for segment 3. We'll see. Maybe we'll be back with Scott Burrell in just a minute. Back on a slice of sports, and look at that guy. We've been
Look at
covering.
the
You
hair.
actually did have hair.
Look at the hairline. It's slowly going back though. It's slowly receding though.
Yeah, we've been bothering you for decades now.
Athleticism, good looks. I mean, you just a total package. Total package.
Well, that's what a makeup does, I guess.
yeah. Before you came in with us, you had to stop in the bathroom and put some makeup on. You're like a TV guy now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Can you talk about the neighborhood where you grew up,
yeah.
Hamden? Someone sent me a text. You had the Gurria brothers, Paul and Ivan, Reggie Higgins, a boxer, Matt Martin, Jonathan Quick, yourself, all within, he said, a 4-iron of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like something in the water. Brian Leach from Cheshire.
Yeah.
I mean, just when you look back at that now, that's some pretty big athletes coming out of your neighborhood.
Yeah, my neighborhood was loaded with young kids around the same age. Yet the street was called Howard Drive. I was on Evergreen, and there were so many kids that lived in that neighborhood. So we used to play 11-on-11 in my backyard, play football. We used to play wiffle ball every day. We had so much competition. Like it was all day too. My parents had to kick people out of our yard just so we can enjoy the rest of the day. But like we never had grass in our yard because we played football, baseball, or basketball in our yard. We used to have. I made a full court basketball hoop in our yard with milk crates. I put up 2 crates on plywood on both ends. We had a full court hoop there. And when we played baseball, we played fast pitch tennis ball, but we'd take the skin off the tennis ball and use a stick. And they have a little net at the strike zone. And there was so many things like we used our minds to do to have fun because we didn't have video games. We didn't have a lot of other things to do. So we just wanted to play sports, and everyone in the neighborhood used to come to our house to play. It was so much fun, so much fun.
It just talks about the competitive desire in you, and that's such a big reason of why you've accomplished what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
You've also you played and became friendly with maybe the greatest competitor of all time in the NBA.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, playing with the Bulls there. What did you learn from Michael that you didn't already know?
I'm pretty competitive, but no one's like him. That's a different level of competitiveness. Another level of drive. He never turns off. His motor's always revving. But I loved it. Like people would say, why didn't you fight him when he was talking junk to you on the thing on the Last Dance? But I'm like, if you're a competitor, that's what you want to be better. And he was driving me to be better, pushing me to be better. And I love the challenge every day because it's easy. You're making good money. You could just cruise through life, but that wasn't fun. It's fun when someone's pushing to be better. I was fighting through injuries, but I could still be better. And that's what he wanted everybody, not just me. He wanted to challenge everybody to try to reach his level, which none of us could. But it was fun trying, and you wanted to be a part of something special, and I was winning.
And to this day, you guys are still pretty close, right?
Yeah.
You want to FaceTime him into the show real quick?
No. I congratulate him on his win, the NASCAR win.
Yeah, right. He always
and
wins,
his birthday
right?
yesterday, yeah. And his birthday was yesterday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I heard a great story. Kevin Lockery, former NBA coach, coached Jordan for a year, and said they talked about the competitiveness. Said they were at a scrimmage at practice, and Jordan's team was up 7-1. They were playing at 10, and he blew the whistle and made Michael switch his jersey and go to the other team because he just wanted to see what Michael can do. And then Michael went and beat the other team. They were in 7-1, and he just talked about his competitiveness, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
He wanted to win at cards. He wanted to win at everything.
Everything. But that's why he's like, people talk about, LeBron being a star and Kobe's and stuff like that. But there's no one like Michael that just no matter what you're playing, he had to win. But if you feed off that, and you love to see it as a teammate, and you knew you were in great hands when he was on your team. So I mean, it's like when you played against him, you fear it, but when you're on his team, you might fear it a little bit because if you don't do your job, he's coming after you. But you love watching it when you're on his team.
Who were the posters on your wall growing up? When I was growing up,
MJ.
I had the Jordan poster. I had Dr. J, Patrick Ewing, Dave Winfield.
Yeah.
Who were the guys on your wall that you said, I want to be like him when I grow up?
MJ and Dwight Gooden. So when I played baseball, I loved Dwight Gooden. So, and I wanted to be just like Dwight Gooden. I don't know if I wanted to be like MJ because I knew I couldn't, but I just love watching what he did on the court. I love watching his highlights and how skilled and talented he was.
Did you ever beat him in a one-on-one, one of those competitions?
No, we played
closed
once.
doors?
We played once, and he ended up beating me 7-6. And that's when he said, I said, let's play again. I was mad because I had my chance to win. He called travel. Him and Ron Harper called travel. So let's play again. He's like, why am I going to play you again? So you can tell the world you beat Scott Burrell? Beat Michael Jordan? Who am I going to tell? My kid, I beat Scott Burrell? They'll slap me in my face. So, yeah.
Did you ever beat him in anything?
No.
Card game on the plane?
Oh,
Anything?
yeah, with cards.
Take some money from him?
Yeah, cards we exchange money in the cards.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
What's next, Scott? You're doing this great job at Southern coaching. Is it enough for you right now? You enjoying it? It's still fun to do every day. And I'm saying that just because of the challenges with NIL and just the way the world is changing.
Yeah, it is. It's challenging with the transfer portal and NIL. I don't mind the transfer portal. I think it should be changed to one time you can transfer. Unless your coach leaves, then you should be able to transfer again. But I also think the next challenge for me in my life is being there for my kids and not pushing them too much, but supporting them, but pushing them to be better and challenging them, but knowing that fine line of don't go too far. That's going to be the hard part for me.
Yeah, you talk about. We're going to bring up your family too, because you know your wife Janae, your son Coakley, daughter Cora. Like, you know, Coakley's got good size. Like,
he does.
And he didn't really love sports originally, but now he's come to it. So where are you trying to help him? You know, follow his dreams. They
play a lot of different sports, and they love the challenge of play different sports. Like right now, they're skiing. They competed in a skiing event, a downhill skiing event up in Plattsburgh this weekend, and Cora came in third, Coakley came in fifth. But, like, they love doing everything in that season. They play flag football together, just different teams. Cora's team went to the championship. Coakley's team won one game. So I think the competitiveness of each other, bouncing off each other, is going to make them better athletes. I don't talk about what I've done in my past to them. They might look it up and stuff like that. Now, like, we bought NBA 2K. Now they play me on NBA 2K now.
That's awesome.
So they give me a beard. I don't know why I have a beard in NBA 2K. It doesn't even look like me. But they do play that. So it's fun for them to recognize what I've done, but I don't try to push my energy on them and try to have any negative feelings towards sports.
Are they averaging more per game when they play you as a video player than you
No,
did
I
in
kick
real
their
life?
butt still. And I never played video games as much as I got older. Only when I played when I was younger. But I still kick their butts.
I want to mention a couple things. I tried, Scott. I was going through my phone looking for people to get some dirt on Scott Burrell.
Yeah.
Your guys protect you. Reached
Good
out
man,
to
good man. I have good friends.
Tom Moore at UConn. He's like, I got nothing,
Yeah.
Erik. You know, blah,
Smart.
blah. Another coach did tell me you had a funny recruiting story when you were on a trip. You were an assistant at Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
And you texted Sean Doherty, one of the other coaches, about a player you were watching. Tell us about that real quick, if you could.
Yeah, it was one of my first years recruiting. That was a good one, too. One of my first years recruiting, I go down to, it was Norfolk, Virginia area. A lot of town down in Virginia. So I'm down there recruiting, and I'm looking around. Usually you see coaches you know, but I don't see any coaches I know. I'm like, maybe they didn't get in yet. It was because of a 3-day tournament. It was like a Christmas tournament, 3-day tournament. So I'm like, hey, Sharon, there's some great players down here. You guys need to come down and try to recruit some of these guys with me. And Sean's like, I'm like, but I don't see any coaches I know. He's like, well, Scott, there's a reason why that you don't see anybody. It's Division I. It's a dead period for Division I coaches. You shouldn't be in the gym today. You're supposed to be there tomorrow. I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe you're right. So
you run out of there?
Yeah, so I end up covering my Quinnipiac name on my shirt, flipping it over, and walking out, and I was so embarrassed. I had to turn myself in for a violation.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but it was a slap on the hand, slap on the wrist. But so I went back the next day and saw good talent with my
part of
Quinnipiac,
learning on the job, though, right? You know?
Yeah. I got another great one, too, though. Another first time, it was probably my first time ever recruiting. And I see Coach Dickman, obviously, who was my assistant at UConn. And I go to a tournament in New Jersey, and he says, Scotty, first-time coaches, he had a big boy, first-time coaches can go on the court, shake hands, and hug the player if you like them. I'm like, no, you can't, Coach. He's like, I know, just trying to get you in trouble, Burrell. So, yeah.
That sounds like Howie for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Great impression of him as well.
Oh, no, he's a character.
Thank you.
He is a character.
Oh, he's a great guy.
All right, we got to wrap it up. I know you're in the business now, so we got a tight wrap here. But I want to ask you real quick. You said you can't throw 90 anymore. Can you still dunk?
I dunked on my 55th birthday in January. Oh. I did it. I dunked.
55? How'd that happen?
Yeah, I know. They go fast. And I did it on the 12th of January. So I
Annual
really snuck it
tradition?
in.
You're going to do it every year? Every year? Keep going as long as you
I was so
can?
scared I was going to hurt myself, though. I was so afraid. I had 17 surgeries. I don't want any more. I was so nervous.
17 surgeries?
Yeah. I was nervous.
All right, old man. Thanks for
I know.
joining
Yeah,
us.
You got to go coach your team tonight. Good luck.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
We need a part 2 with Scott Burrell.
really.
But
Yeah.
We really appreciate the
Thanks,
time,
John.
Scott.
Thanks, Erik. Thank
That's
you.
Scott Burrell, the greatest athlete to ever come out of Connecticut. I'm going with Erik.
Damn right. I
Oh,
agree.
okay,
I agree.
good,
Come on.
good.
All right, for Erik Dobratz,
slipped him
Scott
some
Burrell. I'm John Pierson. Thanks for joining us, everybody.